We have a very, very big show for you tonight. Big show. Khamzat Chimaev almost died. His training partner speaks out about his near-death experience, how it affected his fight with Sean Strickland, and explains that's the reason why Khamzat Chimaev lost the UFC world title to Sean Strickland. Now, I don't know if you guys believe it or not. We're going to get into all the details. We're going to get into what it means, if it's actually true, and in the event that it is true, what that means exactly for the UFC middleweight championship picture, because it means a lot, right? It means a lot. This is a big, big problem for Khamzat Chimaev and the UFC. We got Wrestling World just hit the chat. Let's go, guys. Shout out to Wrestling World. I love pro wrestling. My uncle was Hulk Hogan, so I'm a big pro wrestling nerd. Also, guys, my name is King David MMA. I'm a professional MMA champion, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I coach and I train at the world's greatest gym, Extreme Couture, home of many UFC world champions, including Sean Strickland, who we are going to discuss tonight, and his big fight where he beat Khamzat Chimaev, and now everybody is coming out of the woodwork with all these reasons why, and what these reasons why mean to the sport, to the fight, to the rematch, and to the belt moving forward in the future. We got a big show for you guys tonight. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're on live, hop in the chat. I prefer to have a dialogue rather than just a monologue. And if you drop a comment, I respond to every freaking comment. But if you're a real one, you already know that. And somebody was asking, they pointed it out. Good Vibes Only is backwards. Ignite Fights is backwards. Real One is backwards. It's because I don't know how to work a computer, guys. I'm streaming off my phone, all right? So this is the front camera. So when you get this shirt at the link in the chat, it's going to go back this other way. And this is a mock-up shirt. The font on the link is different, so tap the link, check out the shirts, check out the store. We're gonna remodel the store. You know what I'm saying? We just take action around here, guys. That's what we do. That's what real ones do. So anyways, guys, make sure you check out Fight Circus, home of the Freak Show fights, at Fight Circus on Instagram. And also make sure you send your coach to Studio Millions. Studio Millions will pack the gym. We have an obesity epidemic in this country. We have a men's mental health epidemic. We have a women's self-esteem epidemic. We have kids on iPads and screens, and we got teenagers looking at social media and getting depressed. And all of that can be fixed through martial arts. So make sure your coach goes to Studio Millions so we can change people's lives through marketing their martial arts school. It'll pack their gym full of students who stay, pay, and refer, and your coach will thank you, and you will be saving people's lives. Listen, man, if you train martial arts, you already know the vibes. Let me check the chat, and we're going to get right into it. Thank you for the shout out. Was Hogan really your uncle? Yes, Hulk Hogan was my father's little brother. And when you watch the Netflix documentary and they show my dad, who I believe they refer to as Alan in there, I think they use his first name. When they show Hulk's brother, Alan, they show him with a kid on a motorcycle. I'm that kid, right? So like I grew up a little bit, got extra buff, you know what I'm saying, mogging out here. But yeah, in that documentary on Netflix, I am the little baby with the good hair on the motorcycle. John Dong says, what's up? Shout out to John in legendary status, the first person to super like. Dude, see, that's what I'm saying, guys. I'm here to have fun. I forget that you guys can even super like and super chat, but John Dong was the first. We're monetized. Okay, and in the near future, I'm only going to be able to respond to super chats. So as the channel grows, we're going to move with the channel growth. But for right now, I'm responding to everybody. I make videos and stream off my phone also. Yeah, man. You know how we do. We got Aubrey Gordon in the chat. I don't give a what Khamzat says. Nasser Dean is next. We got the Weapon X project in the building. Let's go, guys. All right, so Khamzat Chimaev's training partner, TJ Dillashaw. They all train at the Jackson Media House and that whole environment. They train with Sam Calavita, who was TJ's strength and conditioning coach when TJ popped for EPO. That should be noted. And I'm not saying that Sam gave it to him. I'm just saying that TJ was really, really trying to win. He was rolling out all the stops. So in the event that TJ's cardio was super, super epic from all the training. Then someone would say, well, then why was he on the EPO? And then people would say, well, if you're on the EPO, then why would you need all? Anyways, it's a complex situation. And all this training, all this fucking riding bikes real fast and jumping up and down and all that, right? Which I'm sure is good for the people who like that. Khamzat went over there and did all that. Strickland did not do that. Khamzat gassed out and pulled guard. Strickland did not gas out and pull guard. So they have a different reason as to why. It's not the strength and conditioning. It's not jumping up and down on the boxes. It's not throwing the fucking balls at the wall or whatever. I don't know what they're doing. I actually don't know what they're doing. I'm just assuming it's a lot of this type of shit. And that got him in shape. But the reason he gassed wasn't because of that. It's not because it wasn't sports specific. It was because he had a bad weight cut and he almost died. TJ goes into it. He says that Khamzat Chimaev had 16 pounds of water to lose, or 16 pounds to go on the week of the fight, which to anybody who cuts weight, that is not a big deal, right? Maybe if you are a 115-pound chick, it's a big deal. But, you know, I've cut as low as 150, 150, and I can make 145. Yeah, I've literally gotten a fight on 30 hours notice, and they were like, the weigh-ins are literally tomorrow in the morning or whatever time it was tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow afternoon, just to make it less dramatic, right? Hey, it's 24 hours from now. You got to weigh in. Cool. I was at the time, I believe 14 pounds over. So I got off the phone with my manager. They didn't even have a flight book for me. I got in the bathtub and I started cutting weight. I cut weight all through the night. I didn't go to sleep. I got on the plane with a sauna suit. I cut the rest of the weight on the plane. I got there. I was almost on weight. I wasn't on weight yet. I had like 3 more to go or something. So I cut 11 pounds overnight and on the plane. And then I went into a sauna and I cut the rest of the weight. And I was like getting a little woozy, but I still made the weight. But that was 14 pounds on like no notice. Like I wasn't water loaded. I wasn't sodium depleted. I wasn't any of that. That was my manager said, hey, do you want to fight in 30 hours? And I said, yeah, bro, just forge my signature. I'm getting in the bathtub. Bye. Boom. Didn't even ask. You know what I mean? I do it differently. I'm a rare case. But the point is 16 pounds for a middleweight, it should not be a big deal at all. TJ said it was such a big deal that Khamzat almost died. He was throwing up green bile, which is bad, right? That's real bad. We don't want him to do that. Also, he said it got to the point where Khamzat didn't want to cut any more weight, and he literally bribed Sean Strickland. He gave him $1 million bribe. He's like, hey, man, listen, bro, I just want to give you $1 million. I don't want to make the weight. Just here's $1 million. Strickland said no. Strickland wanted the world title and to make his own $1 million. You know what I mean? So Khamzat weighed in. There was a controversial weigh-in, guys. You guys saw the scale going like this, and they just screamed out, well, how do you know what the weight is if it's like this? Anyways, you know, the whatever New Jersey State Athletic Commission said that was an official weight. No person no weight cut coach, no strength and conditioning coach, no nutritionist, no fighter would agree to that. But you know what? That's the commission. And what they say goes. If they say he made weight, then I guess legally he made weight. TJ Dillashaw also said the Khamzat Chimaev, and we're going to get into what all this means because it means something that nobody's talking about. People are talking about how drastic and brutal the weight cut is, but they're not explaining what it means for the implications for the rematch and the division moving forward. He says Khamzat Chimaev has half a thyroid due to medical complications. I guess he had the lockdown virus that went around back in the day. And I don't know if that's what caused him to have half a thyroid, whatever, right? He's got half a thyroid. And then they are blaming his nutritionist because he went with a different nutritionist than what TJ would have recommended. He went with the same nutritionist that was Arman Sarukian's nutritionist when Arman, I'm not saying he missed weight. I'm just saying he hurt his neck doing handstands with Nina Drama, and it had nothing to do with weight, but they're blaming that nutritionist for Arman missing weight, which he didn't miss weight. He had a back injury, but that had nothing to do with the Nina Drama thing. But anyways, so that nutritionist is apparently not the right guy to go to make weight in TJ Dillashaw's assessment. And yeah, so that guy is a cultural nutritionist, meaning that instead of doing whatever the most optimized thing is to get the weight off and make the weight, he does whatever is the most, I guess I don't know what it would be, what Islamic way to do it, right? Like, so if, you know, eating, I don't, whatever it is, right? If eating white fish will make you lose the weight quicker, but that's haram or whatever, I don't know shit about it, right? Then they would eat lamb instead. So apparently there was a lot of lamb going on and a lot. And listen, that's neither here nor there. If you're taking a fucking title fight, and I've taken a regional title fight, right? So you got to be on point, on the dot. There's no pound allowance. There's nothing. That's part of being a professional, right? So lamb or no lamb, what you got to make adjustments, you got to make the weight. If you have a thyroid issue, you know that going in, you got to make the adjustments. If that's not the weight class for you, that's not the weight class for you. So they are saying this is the reason that he missed the weight. Thyroid problem, can't cut the weight, has a slow metabolism due to half a thyroid. So my question is this to you guys. That was a whole big ass fucking way to ask this question. Then why should he get a rematch? If it's that big of a problem, if he's got all these external circumstances that are outside of his control, if he can't make the weight because it's so hard and it's all this problem, like, why would you have confidence in a rematch with the guy? If you were the UFC and you were putting big money up to promote this, why would you have that guy fight for a title where he may miss weight? And then when he gets the title, he may instantly vacate and not make the weight again, or he may keep the title and miss weight for a title fight, and therefore the title's not. Like, what are we doing here? This is all bad. This is all bad. I get that they need to have a narrative, a story as to why these guys should rematch after that performance, after everything everybody said about Khamzat being bro, his training sessions, bro. He's fucking double legging, Olympic world champions through the wall, and then he's tapping 100 black belts out at the same time, and he's KOing Khalil Roundtree with one arm tied behind his back. He's the freaking future of martial arts. We've never seen anything like it. And then in the fight, he gets a takedown stuffed and he pulls guard. That difference, right, is so night and day that they need an explanation in order to justify a rematch. But if you are a businessman and you're looking at it from the perspective of the UFC, why on earth would you give this guy a rematch? If he really can't if all this shit you're saying is true, he's got all these problems, it's really hard on him, you don't understand, it's different, he's got these, and good. Like, if he's got that, we respect his medical condition. He should move up to a weight class he can easily make. That's all good. We don't want him to risk his health. We don't want him to have near-death experiences. 16 pounds shouldn't be a big cut for anybody in the middleweight division. That's called fucking light work. Listen, if I cut to 145, I like, if I was cutting 16 pounds the week of, like, to me, to go to 145, that's not a huge amount of weight, right? Like, I could, in theory, cut 20 pounds the week of, be 155, and go down to 135, and that would be a big amount of weight for a week, right? Like, that would be now I could say something. I'm cutting to 35, I cut 20 pounds in the week, right? Like, now I could talk to somebody and somebody would listen to what I'm saying, right? 16 pounds at middleweight, bro. Like, dude, I believe that he has a medical condition. And if the medical condition is fucking his weight cut ability up so much, then for his safety, make the man go up, right? Like, we don't need the dude dying. We don't need a death, right? And I'm not wishing that on him. I hope he lives a million years, right? Like, but let's be honest, man. If it's that hard to get down, how can they guarantee his performance won't be shooting, getting stuff, gassing out, and getting a guard pull again? Like, so the narrative that they're promoting is the same narrative that makes the case against what they want, right? Like, that's it would be better if they were like, hey man, listen, I moved away from Chechnya, I moved away from Sweden, I moved away from my team, I got a little Hollywood, I was out there, in Orange County in LA I was doing some of the wrong things. I didn't take it serious. I thought I was a big weight cutter. I put on more weight, right? I had already dieted down super hard. I was on low calories, and then the last 16 was much more harder than I thought it would be. This time I'm going to be disciplined. I got it. Right? If they said that, that's a different narrative. That's a different narrative than a fucking health concern and a fucking impossible weight cut. Right? So, in my eyes, it's got to be Strickland versus Imanov. That's the next fight. If Khamzat can make the weight in a healthy manner moving forward, then maybe he can talk about a rematch after that. But we would need to see him fight a non-title fight without the belt on the line to make sure he doesn't have a weight cut problem where he nearly dies again, so that he can make the weight healthy, so they know in the event that he does win, which he won't, but in the imaginary scenario where he would win, that they can put the belt on him and he can defend the belt, right? So that's the fucking business side of it. You can't put a belt on a guy who's a health risk to make the weight, who may vacate or never make the weight again, or miss the weight for the title fight and try and bribe Sean Strickland again with another $1 million to not make the weight. Like, that's unacceptable, guys. These are serious businessmen. They made billions of dollars. They're not fucking around, right? They don't want to hear it. They want to hear, hey, we want you to fight on this date. They want to hear, yes, sir, I'll be there on weight with a fucking bow on. You know what I mean? That's what they want to hear. You weigh in on the dot, championship weight, fucking flex, get in the dude's face, fight all 5 rounds hard. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for this fucking, to see the way my account is set up, you know, the way to, and I think Khamzat's a bad motherfucker, man. I heard he was eating cake. I heard they had a birthday party for him and they were feeding him cake like 10 days out or 8 days out or 4 days out from his fucking fight. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you're eating fucking cake, bro? Is that real? Arman got him a cake, and Arman's just doing the most, right? So shout out to Arman, that Arman can have 12-pack abs and eat fucking McDonald's and cake every day. Good for that guy, right? That guy won the fucking lottery. His dad's a billionaire and he's got a fucking automatic 12-pack with eating junk food all the time. Good for that dude, right? But if you're feeding Khamzat cake and Khamzat's struggling to make weight, bro, maybe you're part of the problem, dog. Maybe he doesn't have the same fucking genetics you got, dog. Let the man make weight, guys. Quit peer pressure in the dude. All right, let me read the chat before I fucking really start popping off. You should do a video on being Hogan's nephew. That's awesome. Also, love your take on McGregor versus Holloway last night. Yeah, Wrestling World. I've got 2 videos about Hulk's documentary where I watched it from the perspective. I actually have 3 videos now. One was like my family and friends texting me about stuff that they know to be untrue in the video. So I do a like, hey man, this is a preview. Here's what's to come. The video just the documentary just dropped. And here's what everybody's telling me is untrue. I'm going to go watch it. Then I watched the first 3 episodes. I did a review on those. And then I watched the last episode, which I didn't like, and I did a review on that. So if you scroll through the lives and you see my uncle, you know, like that, those are the videos for that. But yeah, I'm going to do a video on that. That's a great idea. Being Hulk's nephew. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit that happens. I've literally had people come up, try and touch me, like at WWE events. Like they hear me at will call, getting my tickets or whatever, and they'll be like, "Are you really Hulk's nephew? Oh my god, can I touch you?" Like it's crazy, right? So shout out to the super fans. We love it. And, you know, that's a testament to my uncle's ability to connect with an audience, which I really admire. It's like inspirational to me. Do you think Holloway will struggle fighting McGregor at 170? Yeah, McGregor by KO. Let's fucking go. I believe McGregor is locked in. I don't think the weight is an issue, especially considering that they both fought at 45, they both fought at 55, and now they're both going to be at 70. It's not like Holloway was just at 45 and now he's going up to fight you know, who's a big ass 170 pounder. Like Sean Brady or somebody. You know what I mean? Like he's not going up and fighting somebody like that. So yeah, I would say, or even Islam, right? Islam couldn't really make 55 anymore. It's not like Holloway went up from 45 to fight Islam. It's a 45er who went up to 55 fighting another 45er who went up to 55, and they're just not going to cut the weight. So I don't think the weight will affect it at all. I know a lot of people are making a big deal about the weight. I believe the most important thing about this fight is that McGregor is dialed in. He found Jesus and he did Ibogaine. And those two things combined have got him not wanting to use drugs. And the point of not using, some people can party and still fight. McGregor seems to be the type that over parties, right? And because he's so talented and he's so good and he's trained for so long, against 99% of the population, he can get away with it. But against the elite of the elite, McGregor needs to be dialed. I believe he's going to be dialed in for this fight. And I am picking, if you guys, I got a whole video on it. It's in my last live. And yeah, I go through step by step on what I think is going to happen, the matchup, everything. So if you want to get a deeper dive into McGregor versus Holloway, peep my last match. I pick sides, and I pick Conor McGregor by KO, and then I give a very, very strong case for it. And then I talk about some other predictions I've made that have come true. Because I make predictions on this channel. You know, what do they call him? Mystic Mac? You can call me Destiny Dave because I predict these things. We got 10-7 MMA in the building. Always an excuse. Shit's annoying. Yeah, man. So it's like I'm torn, right? Because let's be Khamzat could, you know, he can fight, right? Like the guy can fucking fight. You know, but with all this other shit, man, it's like we got to get that shit dialed in, guys. Like that's not for you to talk to the public about, right? Like that if you're having all these problems behind the scenes, and trust me, I've had weight problems behind the scenes. I have over dieted. And then when I over dieted, I had fucked my whole metabolism up. I fucked the whole weight cut up. I fucking tried to rehydrate. I was nauseous. I couldn't get the fucking keep the water and the electrolytes down. I'm like trying not to puke. And you know, if I fight at 155, typically I like to walk in the cage about 75, right? A good 20 pounds. For this fight, I pulled up to the cage at 161. So I only rehydrate. I cut a fucking bunch of weight and then I only put 6 pounds back on. And then when I was in the fight, I couldn't take shots. Everything that was, but I didn't like go online and talk about it. You know what I mean? I just was like, hey man, dude got me. Back to the drawing board. Let's run it again, you know? And then I ran it again and things went better in the next fight. And I learned and I fucking adapted, right? But I didn't make like a whole, I want to rematch that guy because, nah, dude, that guy got the dub, man. Good for him. Good for him. I fucked up. I keep that business to myself and my team. We make preparations for the next one, on to the next one. But hey, guess what? Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not fighting for a UFC world title. So maybe Khamzat and his team know something I don't. And that's the way to go about it, is to put all the business out there, say that's the reason. Maybe that's what it takes. You know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, I mean, that, and he's like fucking the best, fucking one of the best, two best fighters on the planet. So, yeah, man, you know, we're going to give him a little bit of leeway because he is one of the baddest motherfuckers in the world. But yeah, man, they got to stop with this fucking missweight shit. Yo, consult with me, guys. I'll help you get the rematch. I'll tell you what to say. Okay, I'm very good at it. Arp on the Dawn in the chat. Real ones on the live. Yeah, let's go. And speaking of the real one shirts, these are backwards because I'm using my front camera on my phone. They actually are correct on the website. So if you pop on the website, you'll see them legible, right? Not backwards. Arpon says he just got on here. Best show on the tube. Hey, you have excellent taste in shows, my guy. Okay, thanks, brother. As can, bro, I'm gonna go watch it. Okay, I'm lying. I'm not gonna go watch Harry Potter, but I'm gonna learn how to pronounce your name, dog. Didn't Connor go up for Diaz fight? Yeah, they fought at 170 twice, and I believe Connor like weighed in light and to my understanding, Diaz cut to make 70. He cut from like 90, and McGregor weighed in at like 68 without like a weight cut or something. But he probably cut weight. He probably just said he didn't do a weight cut. But like, let's be real, he was probably 76 or something like that. It probably wasn't a huge cut. I think now that he's been out of the testing pool, he's probably put on some fucking serious muscle, especially healing his leg. I would imagine Connor's in the 90s, looking like a brick shit house, buff as fuck. And that honestly, that could affect the fight. Getting off the shit. You know, if he doesn't get off the shit, right, that's another can of fucking worms. And here's the other thing too. When we're talking about being graceful and giving TJ and Khamzat leeway, because TJ is a former UFC world champion, Khamzat is a former UFC world champion. So maybe they know some shit that we don't, right? This could be this, and this isn't me saying it in an accusatory way. I don't know this to be true, but like, let's say there's drug use involved where people have to do shit to be able to get through their training regimen because their training regimen's so hard. Like, they can't come out and say that. They can't be like, oh, he was cycling and he got off the cycle bad, that's why he gassed or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because we live in a fucking world that can't deal with the fact that professional athletes use substances that, I'm not saying them, right? I'm just saying allegedly someone out there has used a substance before, and we can't talk about it openly. So then you hear these stories that don't make sense. I'm not saying that's exactly what they're doing. I'm just saying, like, for instance, let's talk about something not MMA related. The Rock saying he eats chicken and broccoli. That's how he put on fucking 60 pounds of lean muscle at like 40 something years old and is even more shredded than ever in his 50s. Like, he just went through a growth spurt after 35 and just fucking, yeah. And, and he had gyno surgery. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, but that's just chicken and broccoli, guys. Just chicken and broccoli and do your supersets and lift heavy, man, and have epic cheat days. Bro, but it's like, we're steering the youth wrong. We gotta keep it real with them. Hey, guys, some of you guys, in order to be elite, would have to use drugs. So you have to realize that the training regimen that the other people are going through, where they're training fucking 9 practices a day, and they're running, and they're lifting, and they're fucking throwing medicine balls, and they're doing this, and they're doing that, and they're getting injured, and they're recovering, and they're fucking, like, all that. You're going to be competing with guys on drugs. That's reality. So you got to be ready to beat them while you're off drugs, or you got to be able to join them and do it and not get, and then that's a whole other world. You need a coach to get you through that, right? Like, that's the reality of the situation, but nobody can talk about it publicly. So I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm just saying that the Rock's story doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rock's story, right? Like, dude, you're just 35, 40 years old, just put on fucking 60 pounds of lean muscle and just start fucking snarling and veins in your fucking shit. You know what I mean? And now he's 50 something and he's leaner than fucking ever and he looks great, right? But like, to the other 40-year-olds that want to look like him, it would be nice if he went out there and said, like, hey man, here's what the fuck I'm on. Here's how much I work out. I feel like I have to be on this in order to work out that much at 40. Fuck, how old is he now? 52, 53. At 53, in order to recover, I feel I need all this shit, right? It's gonna potentially shorten my lifespan, but it's gonna make my life to where I can achieve the goals I want to achieve. And like, that's an adult conversation that adults are not having. Anyway, that's a whole other rant. The 10-7 MMA, Shavkat Morales are huge at 170. Yeah, man, I'm excited to see Morales, man. That dude looks like he can make some moves. But that's the problem, right? Outside of like the top 5, a lot of these dudes look like world beaters. You're like, fuck, dude, that's the next dude. And then they get in the top 5, some of them the top 10, but like certainly the top 5 or the top 3. And then it's like, dude, they just get clapped. So I'm excited to see where he goes moving forward. Is he the one that was in like the um, suspect outfits and shit, fishnets and shit? Was that him, man? Because that's one bad fucking pronoun, man. You know what I mean? That dude's got pronouns in his bio. That's a bad motherfucker right there. You do not want to get locked up with that guy. All right. Arpon the Don says 100. Aubrey Gordon says, does Sean beat Imanov twice? Bro, yes. Bro, yes. Sean will beat him. He beat him before. He'll beat him again. Yeah, I believe Sean, not only will he beat him, he'll probably beat him even easier, man. Sean's got some 5-round experience in there. He fought Khamzat. Dude, as long as Sean's healed up and doesn't have injuries, Sean's going to beat all these fucking guys. I think Sean beat DDP the first fight. I think that Sean went into that fight with injuries and he was really, really injured. He was fucked up in the second DDP fight. But he took the fight. So let's get back. No excuses, right? So he took the fight. He owns it. He lost. Okay, cool. He healed up. He fought Khamzat. He won. Now we got improved Sean. Sean was just at the Ways to Well getting his shoulder worked on. So he's going to get his shoulder fixed. He's going to come back healthy. And he's going to fucking beat up Imanov again. Let's fucking go. Keep the title at Extreme Couture. We like world championship belts. Listen, I told the world I was going to bring the regional belt back to XC, and I brought it back. Sean told the world he's going to bring the UFC title back to Extreme Couture, and he brought the belt back, and he's going to do it again. 10-7 MMA. King David, appreciate you, brother. I got to start my show in 10 minutes. You're welcome anytime. Yeah, man. Hey, and you guys know that I went on the 10-7 pod, and I predicted these teams. I said Sean Strickland was going to fucking bounce. I literally said, I 100% guarantee Sean Strickland will win, and he's going to bounce his balls off Khamzat's head. And he did exactly that. So that, if you guys want to go check my track record, 10-7 MMA pod, go back on the one where I was on before the fight. Watch that one. John Dong, who are you picking in Gon Pereira? Man, I'm going with Pereira. I think Pereira has seen plenty of, fast athletic guys in his kickboxing career. I don't think Gon's going to be a problem for him. I think Pereira is going to touch him up. I believe that people are hoping and praying that Gon has some form of a chance. And, he can kind of like point fight a bit, but people are saying that Khalil Roundtree did well with Pereira. If you watch that fight back on mute, right, and you put yourself in the fight, who would you rather be? Go through the fight like this. Each round, who would you rather be? And outside of the one punch that Khalil lands that kind of, wobbles Pereira, if you watch it back without the sound, without the announcers gassing the fight up, you're going to say to yourself, wow, man, King David was right. I really would not like to be Khalil Roundtree in this fight. I would like to be Pereira because I didn't even see the fight as like super close back and forth. I saw it as like there's a glacier moving forward, imminent doom, and it's only a matter of time, right? Before the fucking glacier overtakes its victim. And that's what like Pereira's pressure moving forward was. It was just like, okay. Oh, keep the pace up, bro. Keep it okay. Keep that same energy. Okay, cool. You wobbled me, cool, bro. Watch this. Like, and if you've ever been in there, the dude that's pressing like that, the other guy is like, fuck, man, I can't get this guy off me. I can't get him off me. And if you are able to pressure people like that, it's a very, very scary feeling for the person you're pressuring. So, I mean, if you guys got the time, watch that motherfucking fight back. I got Alex Pereira. And then I believe Josh Hokett's going to fucking fight Pereira. And I'm saying Hokett's going to be the next champion. And again, there's a breakdown on that on the channel as well. I predict it. I don't sit on the freaking fence. All right, guys. So let me ask you this. Was the strength and conditioning off too in the Khamzat fight? Because he gassed. So was that just because of the weight cut? Or was that because of the strength and conditioning? Because some people are saying he did a bunch of strength and conditioning, but wouldn't it make more sense to do less strength and conditioning and focus on having a less deadly of a weight cut? Like what? Or wait, or we're going to push ourselves to the limit and everything, almost die, and then you. So they need to make a little. I'm not here to fucking. I'm on this wave, guys, and I learned this is something I learned. I don't offer unsolicited advice, but if they came to me and asked for advice, I'll be like, "Hey, man, we got to make this shit smooth, bro. You know what I mean? We got to clean this shit up. They got some changes they need to make. I think they just lying to save face. Well, listen, man, and I don't agree with. I'm on this whole like do exactly what you say you're going to do wave. So then everyone around you trusts you and you trust yourself and you get self esteem and all this like good vibe shit, right? But like in the event that they are doing all this manipulating of narrative to save face in order to get the rematch, well, that's business, right? They're doing their best to get the rematch if they think the rematch is the fight they want. So then they got to think of something. They got to say something. They can't just be like, "Oh, do one fair and square. We want a rematch." They got to have a caveat. "Oh, well, this happened or that happened," right? Sean had some obligations and showed up and fought, so no excuses. Yeah, man. Listen, that's why I'm saying when I had a bad weight cut, I didn't bring it up to the dude. You know what I mean? I didn't bring it up publicly. I didn't go tell everybody. I'm not even saying which fight it was now. right? Like I didn't tell people at the gym what happened, you know? Uh, everybody goes in there fucked up, right? Like you're not training MMA at any level like that's good without getting fucked up. Like this pinky on this finger doesn't lift up, right? Okay, this knuckle is swollen. I can't make a full fist. Like there, so this is my fist on this side. This is my fist on this side. This one doesn't close. This happened a couple weeks ago. Boom, jammed my fingers in the wall upstairs wrestling with Justin James, the co-host of the 10-7 podcast. You know what I mean? And so I was up there in his wrestling class, and they turned the fucking heat on at Extreme Couture. So we're wrestling in like 100-degree heat, like fucking hot yoga wrestling. There's the fucking mats are covered in like centimeter deep sweat, and you look like you jumped into a fucking pool with your clothes on. It's that wet in there because everyone's sweating so much. Anyways, one of these wrestling kids is in there because I go up there to wrestle. He goes to take me down. I go to fucking stop myself because we're doing cage rounds with the walls. Boom, jam my fucking fingers. Well, am I going to stop training? No, right? Like that's just a little one. My neck's fucked. My back's like I got like what but am I not gonna fight? So everybody's going in there fucked up. Everybody's fucked up. Dude, guys are going in there with one fucking arm. Like literally, bro, I've seen like Patchy Mix defend his Bellator world title, like not being able to use an arm. And he's like, I gotta go fight. And then you guys see guys who go into fights, and whether they have a good performance or not, they never make a fucking excuse. They never tell anybody that they were fucked up. And then guys go, oh, so and so fought and lost. That guy's fucking cooked. And it's like, dude, if you guys knew that guy had broke his ankle and didn't train and then came into this fight on like 2 weeks notice or whatever the fucking case may be in different fights, it's crazy, man. And so, yeah, everybody's fucked up. Everybody's getting in there not at 100%. Yeah, everybody's weight cut sucks, right? Your weight cut maybe sucks more than the other guys, but his cut sucks too, right? He's cutting a lot of weight too. Sean's not a fucking small dude. I've been in there with Sean and I grappled him and I was asking him, I was like, bro, why, what are you doing to prevent me from lifting you with my butterfly hook? Because I'm able to get underneath everybody else, but when I go with you, you're shutting it down. And he goes, dude, I got 60 fucking pounds on you, bro. You know what I mean? The guy was 235, right? Like, he's not a small gentleman who's just like, oh, I weigh 188 pounds. I'm going to cut down to 185. No, bro. He's got a big weight cut too, bro. Let's talk about his weight cut. Let's talk about, oh, well, hey, guess what, bro? You want a rematch? Well, Strickland would have finished you if his weight cut would have went better. Strickland would have finished you if he didn't have to cut 16 pounds the week up. Strickland would have fit like we're not making excuses for the win. The win, he could have finished him, bro. If everything was fucking perfect and it went our way and there was no injuries and fucking all the weight was right. Like, dude, what are we doing, bro? If they want to run it back, let Khamzat make weight for a non-title fight again, show he wants to stay in the weight class, show he can make the weight healthily, and then come up, right, and fight again. We're not playing that, dog. Sean said, okay, Sean waited till after the bout. The shoulder, Khamzat had the same amount of time to prepare, knew his weight, knew he had to show up and fight, and he chose to come like he did. Yeah, Sean was fighting with a fucking dislocated shoulder. Sean Strickland beat the man with a dislocated shoulder. You know what I'm saying? So we talking fucking excuses here, bro. You know what I mean? And man, and I'm biased because I train at Extreme Couture. So don't take anything I say seriously. Just know I'm super biased, right? I like to see Sean versus Imamov, then DDP, then Khamzat, if you can make weight. Dude, let's throw Paulo Costa in there. Why not, right? Let's throw that fight back in there since we're doing rematches. Paulo Costa is at least going to talk some shit. He's got some jokes. He's going to have a little angle. He brings the whole Brazil crowd. Brazil, they got like 60 million MMA fans. Let's do it real big, right? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking. Costa gonna run away again. Bro, you already know. All right, and then also Joe Rogan's beefing. Joe Rogan's got a big beef with the UFC White House call. And it's, you would think that his beef would be that it's not like all American wins, that we're just fucking loading the deck to run the fucking whole card with American dubs, which is what I want. I told you guys I'm very biased, right? So we want, if you're with me, we want American win, American win, American win, right? That's not Joe's problem with the card. Joe's problem is that it's outside. And guess what, man? We're gonna be as real as it gets. Let's fight outside. And then Brennan Schaub was talking about how he believes that they're gonna have like a tarp over the whole thing. So we'll see. Will they have a tarp? Will they have no tarp? Dana White's concerned about the bugs. He says that there might be a lot of fucking bugs, which is gonna be, dude. Yeah, fighting outside is wild. I've got teammates that have fought outside, and then like maybe it rains. And now you're on a slip and slide. But the thing is that the UFC, so there's two different types of texture on the mat, right? When you go in the cage, the UFC has a very, very rough fucking canvas. It's the roughest canvas I've ever felt. I've been in a lot of cages, and some of them are fucking amazing. Like the cage, Thunder Cage in Ohio, that's one of my favorite cages. They're fucking, that whatever the fuck they got, everybody should use. UFC has a canvas that appears to be designed to stop slippage. The issue is that it's super fucking gnarly. It's like almost like sandpaper. It's like a really hard, like imagine like a hard canvasy, like a rug, like a it's hard to explain how rough it is. It's really rough. Like if your feet are not conditioned, you'll rip your feet bloody and everything, like shooting takedowns and shit. And then the logos are different, right? So the logos, and this happens everywhere. Like this isn't just UFC logos, right? And UFC logos are slightly different than other logos, but we're not going to get into all that. The logos are slippery, right? So even when you go to these regional shows, if the cage is good, you're like, oh, this is great. These fucking logos are like slip and slides. And then combine that with the rain, the whole fucking thing's like a slip and slide. You're fucking slipping around. It's almost like a hockey fight, right? So we'll see what happens. UFC White House card. Also, speaking of all Americans, the American #1 USA MMA fighter of all time, Colby Covington, was not asked to be at the White House. He is retired from the UFC, and he's got a big matchup with an All-American, Chris Weidman, who wrestled at a higher weight class than Kobe, and this is going to be an interesting RAF matchup. You would think Kobe would be the underdog. Colby Covington has moved on. He's going to wrestle full time for RAF, and he's invested in the company. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my uncle was also one of the founders of RAF. He was like an investor in the company, and my uncle Hulk Hogan was a founder and investor in Real American Beer, which Kobe's now promoting as well. So shout out to Kobe Covington for keeping the brands alive. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kobe. Let me see the chat real quick. Costa's going to run away again. I think whoever's there for the fights live is going to have a great time for sure. Yeah, man. The political elites are going to have a great time for sure. No, shout out to Trump, man. I heard he's bringing a bunch of troops there too. So that's good. I'm glad that troops are getting tickets and it's not just the billionaire class, although dude, listen, man, I believe God wants us to be abundant. I believe God created us in his image and wants us to expand, be fruitful, and multiply. I believe God gave us unlimited riches and wealth, and I believe that we are supposed to shine in his image and expand. So I don't even have a problem with someone getting money, but the way that some of those guys go about it with all the political fucking bullshit and rigging shit and fucking, like we're not gonna get into all that, but like it's cool that some troops will be there for the historic event. I think RAF is where Kobe can shine. Yeah, man. And he seems to have cut the gimmick, right? He seems to be a lot more like himself now, like a amped up version of Kobe, like Kobe turned up, but not Kobe as a different fucking person who's running with a gimmick at all costs. So it's kind of nice to see a more authentic Kobe Covington. All right, guys. So yeah, I think Khamzat is not doing himself any favors by running with this weight cut narrative. Let's see what the UFC does. I would not give him the rematch, especially considering he literally bribed Strickland $1 million, allegedly. That's TJ Dillashaw's words, saying that is what he did. Yeah, man, if you almost died to make weight, I don't think it's advisable for the organization to put a belt on you, near you, or around you unless you have proven you can make the weight healthily. Because let's be real, man, we're trying to see who the best person is. We're not trying to see who would potentially miss weight at a title fight or at a title defense. So on that note, man, I'm excited to have you guys here. I have a lot of fun, man. The chat was popping tonight, so shout out to you guys. You guys made this super fucking fun for me. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe already. Make sure you have notifications on. Bang the bell, because it feels so good when you do. You get a dopamine spike. Plus, you know when I go live. Tonight I went live a little earlier. I'm popping off the live at the same time I usually get on the live. No telling what I might do. And I'm pushing it earlier and earlier. So make sure you have notifications on. And if you watch us after the event, tap the like button. It takes absolutely 0 seconds. It helps me out. You're doing the right thing. You can know that I appreciate you for it. And drop a comment, because I respond to all comments while the channel is still in the place where I have the ability to do that. All right, guys. So have a good night. I love you. I will see you.